Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dharma friends, in day-to-day life, we like to develop a order and pattern. So, remember in the beginning, this all conversations that we go through, we have two different ways, conventional and eternal. There are some words we use to introduce conventionally. There is no deeper eternal meaning behind it. So, in the depth of this all, when you get into the change, there is nothing permanent. Even that what we learn also the same. There are certain words, even though we use for conventional truth or for communication, there is nothing beyond that communication. So be very clear with that. Somehow that we like to develop a order, pattern. Look at your house. The itself, this all the material things we try to keep into a order. And the same way, in mentally, we develop a pattern. We have an order. But when we look at our own life, when we look at the human history, from our ancestors, billion years, from Homo sapiens to today, when you look at, even though in that very existence ourselves, we develop an order, when we look at in a large scale, we cannot see our order or our pattern, whatever we develop, is correct. So that when we look at the very present moment of the life, see, in every ways we collapse, spiritually, economically, socially, politically. So in every angle, we are in a very difficult moment. How it is possible? If the order is correct, it should not happen that way. So then there is something wrong. Is something not right? So what is that? So our very behavior is thinking. And that thinking develop according to the thoughts. And you always think, that especially regarding your sensations. You think. And your life is whole bunch of thinking, bunch of thoughts. Is there any way that you can live without thinking? But even you don't want to think about that. Because that much we are brainwashed to that. Because we have no idea even how we can do like that. So to think, you need thoughts. From where the thoughts come? Thought come out of the memory. So the memory means remembrance. Whatever you remembered is your thoughts. So whatever you remembered, there should be an experience. So without experience, you cannot remember. So you have to deeply investigate about what I'm saying. Don't just keep listening. You don't need to believe. So without experience, you cannot remember. Even you heard about, as example, you talk about something, whatever happened yesterday, or you have an idea about something, from where it came. It came through certain experience. Maybe it happened to you, maybe it happened to somebody else, and then you heard it. So that heard that itself is an experience. The point is this: the experience means you become very limited to something. When you mean experience, you become very limited to something. So if you become very limited, you are not completely understand it. So then if your memory related with your experience, then according to the memory you have the thoughts, and according to that thoughts, if you're thinking, even though it is a pattern inside you, keep thinking, it has a disorder. What is that disorder? Because it comes out of incompletion. That's why from the ancient time to today, look how many things add moment by every day, adding. It's like computers, it's like iPhone. Look, every day adding. Why that happen like that way? Because even those, they say, oh, this is the most complete product, and it is not complete. If it is complete, within another 4 months, 6 months, how something else can add to that? So our thoughts the same. So from our ancestors, whoever introduced anything, look how many things today we add to that. So then in that very moment, even though it understood as something complete, and today it is totally different. So then this is the thing. If you develop a pattern according to your thoughts, you are in disorder. You are not in order. That is what happening to this entire humanity. It is just not only you, we addicted to that. And that is what we giving to our next generations. You are incomplete. You are incompletion, you inject to others knowingly or unknowingly. How? Because you follow the thoughts, incomplete thoughts. That the thought came from the memory, and the memory came out of the experience. When you experience something, that's mean in that very moment, you are incomplete. You are not the 100% function. So this is the pattern of the samsara. So then out of that thought, even in that very moment, when the thought, with the thought, when you try to experience something itself, you disconnect from the reality. So then, how you can get into the order? I give a little something that you to work. So I don't give a the kind of like the long testing period. No, just take 1 hour every day. Then you can test it and then try yourself. So don't follow the order, the thoughts, and start to follow the time. Go with the time rather than go with the thoughts. And according to time, and try to analyze things, that in that analyzing mean in that very moment, if you are in, that's why it called in another way, it's a very common way, be in the present. Be in the present mean what? You are in the timeline, in the moment, not in the past or the future. So the thought, if you go with the thoughts, you disconnect from the moment, you disconnect from the timeline. So start to, rather than giving more effort to your thoughts, start to recognize the time and focus to the time. So that's why, as example, so for children, use for office or anywhere, you give the timetable. So when the person start to go with the timetable, look, the person start to complete his tasks. So spiritually, mentally, in the samsara, it's kind of like we are in disorder. Even the misery is we believing we are in the order. So that's why we go in the samsara. That disorder, we take as an order. So what is the order should be? Go with the time. That is the order you have to keep. So when you are in the time, what will happen? You don't need the thoughts to work. And your direct perception, in that very moment, whatever happened, your mind start to ability to react according to necessary conditions in that very moment. That means you go with the flow. So that is the technique you have to develop. So when you able to go with the flow, that means go with the time. When you are getting to the time, when you don't go with your previous thoughts or the memory, what is happening? Your mind have ability to see how things come to be as they are. That is the power of mind. But if you struggle, hold with the thoughts, the mind cannot do that. Mind cannot get into that. But once you come out of the thoughts and stay with the moment, the mind able to recognize how things come to be as they are. In that very moment, you come to a point, your actions happen without thinking. Your recognition happen without thinking. That should be your experience. Because the real experience, remember, there is no solid consciousness. The consciousness moment by moment happening. So when you go with the time, the moment by moment that you go, and when you go with that, there is something happen. That is the magic. You come out of the experience. You come out of the experience, because once you try to experience something, that means you hold it to memory. But you experience something without memory, without holding, and then it is moment by moment happening. when you able to get into that, you are not anymore develop the disorder. That means you not develop the samsara. So then you are will get into the transformation or the liberation or the nibbana in that scale. But it takes time. But that is what happening. But the thing is, we in this disorder and believing we are in the order. So that is what called the ignorance itself. We don't recognize this reality. And we recognize something else as reality. And we get the lie as truth. We don't see the truth as truth. But when you able to that is the great the sages, scientists in the ancient time, they used to go with the time and they're trying to get into this. But the Buddha is the one who exactly found the method to come out of the mind and get into the experience without experiencing it. So it is a very limited words that we have to introduce this moment of the happening. So that's why I mentioned that don't tangle with the words, because we're talking about come out of the experience, and at the same time it become experience to yourself. Live without experiencing. And in that very moment, you are available for anything and anything possible. And that is where you can maintain things. Why? Because your mind is very clear. There is nothing behind it. That is where you see how things come to be as they are. That is the moment you have the 100% the power or the authority or the awareness to do whatever the things that you want to do according to that moment. So slowly try to understand this little by little, and try to go with the time. Don't try to repeat your past. So, and don't try to jump ahead the time and go with the time. Whatever, go with the time. Whatever, go with the moment. And that will help you to understand this more. And with that, there's a story for this. There was a Zen master, Nonoko. And the Nonoko Zen master used to practice meditation. And in his ashram, he had certain kind of very old, ancient kind of antiques. So Zen master was practicing meditation. Then suddenly there was a thief came to the temple. And master was practicing meditation. And the thief was so silently start to get into inside the room. And then the master recognized there was a thief and told, in that box, in that corner, in that box, there are some coins, take it. And the thief was kind of like afraid, but then he opened the box and exactly there was some money. And then told, there is this vase and it is a little more valuable, take it. And then the thief took that vase and told, be careful, it's very fragile, take care. So like that, the Nonoko master used to, in this dark night, used to guide the thief to take everything. And then the thief ready to left. And the master told, so you not say thank you? So then the thief told thank you and left the ashram. And so then by the morning, the whole village was unrest because he robbed all the village and everywhere. And the people came to temple and ran to temple, and they knew there are a lot of valuable things in the temple. And everybody ran to the temple, and the Nonoko master was there. And asked, why, what happened, what happened? Then everybody told, oh, Venerable Sir, this is what happened, Master, that the last night there was a very dangerous thief came and took everything. And then they asked, what happened to your temple? Where are that all the valuable antiques items? And then he told, I gave that everything to the thief. And not only that, he thanks me. So the people was shocked to hear that. And then after people left, the very next day, thief returned to him and told, please accept me as your student and teach me. So our life also the same. The way we take, and mostly if you try to hold certain things in your life, and sometimes it's going to go away, and even there are a lot of things going to that go away from us. But if you are able to, knowing this, and if you can decide yourself what to do before things happen, it's kind of like a mastering the life. There are a lot of things happen to you. You know that, you saw it, but you didn't react in the right way and thinking, hold it to yourself. And you knew there are a lot of people going away from you. You knew it happening, but themselves, they left you. But how about if you told, once you, in the very first day when you recognize, if you tell, please go and open the gate, open the door, and even if, how about if you can give some pocket money, take this with you. The whole picture going to change. There are things, lot of things disappear from you. And you know it today. It vanished, it gone. You will never find it in. And you knew it before it going to go away, you knew it going to happen. And how about if you able to donate it or give it to somebody? And with the appreciate note, I am really appreciate you, you accept this. How about today? The picture already changed. So then remember, still tomorrow you will see a lot of things. But if you become very clear and you have opportunity to change that everything to very beautiful picture. So it is up to you. So with that, I bless upon everyone. By this good practice, may all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavattantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ettavata cha amme sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Okay, bless you.